Welcome everyone to our very first episode of Why and What of Learning with Young Butterfly. इस एपिसोड में हमने बात किया है विभा जैन से, जो इंदौर के अंकुरम प्री स्कूल की फाउंडर हैं। इस डिस्कशन में हमने जाना कि कैसे विभा अपने स्कूल में लर्निंग को फन और बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बना रही है। विभा एक बहुत ही डाइवर्स पर्सनालिटी है। वो आर्किटेक्ट है बाय प्रोफेशन। उन्होंने बहुत सारे अवार्ड्स जीते हैं। वो बहुत सारे एनजीओ से एसोसिएटेड है जहाँ वो स्किल डेवलपमेंट के एरिया में काम करती है, और उन्होंने हार्वर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी से स्कूल मैनेजमेंट और लीडरशिप में सर्टिफिकेशन भी किया है। इस डाइवर्स एक्सपीरियंस और वेरीड नॉलेज के कारण वो लर्निंग के लिए एक बहुत रिफ्रेशिंग पर्सपेक्टिव लाती है, जिसे उन्होंने अपने स्कूल में इम्प्लीमेंट किया है। इन माई माइंड दिस इज़ गोइंग टू बी द फ्यूचर ऑफ द इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम। आई होप कि यह डिस्कशन सुनने के बाद आप लोग भी समझ पाएंगे कि एजुकेशन सिस्टम कहाँ जा रहा है एंड हाउ कैन वी बी एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेंट्स इन इट। सो कीप लिसनिंग।
Hello and welcome to our very first episode of Why and What of Learning with Young Butterfly. This is an exciting time for us. Our very first episode, I am so pumped up. And at the same time, I am doing this with my sister Vibha. So another reason to be excited. Thank you so much, Vibha, for taking out time and having this discussion with us.
Thank you, Young Butterfly and Shiba, and especially to Young Butterfly for bringing us sisters together on this platform and facilitating this. And I'm so glad that you invited me for this discussion. And the discussion with Shiba is going to be, I'm sure, very, very interesting. She is an amazing girl.
Thank you so much. And so as you're aware, at Young Butterfly, our main objective is to bridge the gap between educators and learners. We want to bring them together so that they understand each other's mindset. And this is another way. So these podcast series are one more way of bridging the gap and bringing them together. So today, in today's podcast, what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand the changes that are happening in the education system and how we as parents can cope up with those. So, Viba, I would agree. The whole education system is going through a drastic change, right? It is not the same that it was when we used to go to school. Now it seems like ages back. And the changes are not done. The changes are still happening. And I think it will continue for some more time. And you are one of those people who are bringing about this change, right?
Yeah, so, I guess this change is because of the internet and this because the world has become global. Everybody is connected and every information is readily available. So of course, more than knowledge-based education, we are more into research. The world is now focusing more on research-based education, as you already said, about the radical shift that the education is seeing.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And so, what worries me as a parent is, do I know enough about this change to keep pace, to cope up with the changes and make sure that I am taking the right decisions for my kids and I am helping them take the right decisions? So, hence we thought, let's do this discussion with you. You are one of the people bringing about this change. You know what is happening. You are in the thick and thin of the changes. So you can guide us of, what are the various ways that you are implementing this changed education system in your preschool, and what are the steps that we as parents should take to keep pace with it. So really looking forward to this discussion. And let's start with very basic, right? Going to the basic of what really is education, or what is the role of education in an individual's life.
Yeah, thank you, Shiba. Yeah, as you very well said that, yes, I am an architect. I am from a creative background. And of course, because I have been really willing to work in this education sector since long. And we have introduced this Ankuram preschool recently, and we aim to take it forward to K-12. And I'm sure with your support and all blessings, we are definitely going to do that. And education, yes, what, as you said, what is education for you and for me and for everybody? As you as a parent, I cross question you as what is it for you? Or when you send your child to school, what do you expect from school? It's like generally when your child is a toddler and
Yeah.
you send them to school, what do you think? With what vision in your mind do you send them to school?
Well, we send our kids to school with the objective that they should learn about the basics of all the subjects, and be capable enough to make a career in their life, and yeah, just uh, get more
Well,
independent in life.
well, very well said. Actually, yeah, that's the motive of everybody. That is what we think of. They should have a good life later, and once they study, and they study to have a better life, of course. But in the process, do we realize what really interests them the most? Like, what about your child? What interests him the most?
Yeah. So Samyak, as you know, is very much into sports and sports analysis, I would say. And Aditya is following your footsteps. He's exactly like you, where he's more on the creative side. He loves to do anything really where he can just use his creative mind, right? Uh, how can we use one ingredients of one recipe into the other, or how can, if he finds any particular object, how can he use it at some other place? So so anything related to creativity or art is what interests me.
You believe that he's creative, right? But
Yes,
are
absolutely.
he or is the school able to channelize his energy in the interest that he has? So just think over it. Usually we or the school says that abhi homework kar lo, or do this, and this is the priority. Finish this work and then later on do whatever you feel like. So whatever
Mhm,
interests you. So do it
mhm.
later. So it is always for the later. And so I think that's our lacuna, that we are not able to mix up all subjects in whatever he's doing. Like we are not able to mix maths and science in whatever kabar se jugaad that he's making. Or as you said, your elder one is interested in sports. Why can't we just mix up geography or even chemistry? Like there's a lot of chemistry involved in the making or using a particular ball in cricket. So why not make learning interesting? We we i think we are more focused on learning, and we are more focused on all the time just finishing of the task. But how are we doing it, and what should be the procedure? I think we are lacking on that. So we strongly
I
believe and focus on aids of teaching and also making learning practical and fun.
Yep. So this sounds really exciting. I mean, but at times it feels like, is this only like, it sounds good? It sounds too good to be true. Because what our personal experience has been, studies have always been stressful. I remember our days when we used to study, just try and mug up whatever, not even understand what is there in the chapter, just mug up the questions at the end and then get good marks, was, I
We
guess,
were
the
always
aim
the
for
topper
everyone.
in the class, and at our place also, always at and the only one who understands things. We were the ones, always yeah, it's just scoring marks, and you were the ones who understand. You used to understand things, and then we
I
remember that.
I tried to, but I don't know if, I mean, that's what I want to see in my kids also. But I see again today the same stress of getting marks. I guess 80%, 90% of kids, they're studying, or they study before the exams just to get good marks. why isn't there the interest or excitement about learning? When I'm learning something new today, I get excited about it, right? I कुछ नया पढ़ रहे हैं, कुछ नया सीख रहे हैं. Wow, this is so much fun. ये स्कूल में क्यों नहीं होता है? मतलब स्कूल का नाम लेते हैं तो वो एक स्ट्रेस, एक आई डोंट नो हैवी बैग, यही क्यों दिमाग में आता है?
I totally agree to you. You know, मतलब जो अब urge, you have developed that urge for learning now, and it can happen anytime. Why not during our childhood days, or why not during our
Absolutely.
student life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that urge is lacking. So why are we not able to create that urge of learning? I totally agree to what you say. And really, why has education become so stressful for our kids? You know what, our motto at our preschool is happy child makes a confident adult, especially at the preschool where the child is for the very first time coming from his house, which is the most secure and joyful place for him. So it should be a second home to him. So our ultimate focus is to give a happy place to him, and I think that is where, if they are happy, if they are joyful, they would want to do things. We never force any child to do anything. We give them options. We give them, an open platter in which they select and they make their independent choices. I know many schools are working on it, and we are implementing this like for kids, not only pre-primary, but all high school too. We don't give or publish marks for students. We believe in measuring their personal growth. Suppose like a child is a 3 and another child is a 8. The child at 3 is applauded when he reaches 5 in any exam. We are not comparing him with the child at 8. We are measuring his personal growth. We encourage students to give their best rather than comparing them with the toppers. In fact, there are no toppers in our school. See, comparison leads to insecurities, and insecurities lead to jealousy, and that finally leads to stress. पहले हम उनको stress देते हैं, फिर counselor के पास भागते हैं, then depression, anxiety, and all sorts of negative conditions. But think, who is responsible for it? Yeah.
But then, don't you think this is also important? Like, आगे चलकर, when we get into the competitive life, right? ऑफिस में है तो प्रमोशन तो 10 में से एक ही को मिलेगा. आईआईटी की तो लिमिटेड सीट्स है, अगर आईआईटी में जाना है तो आपको तो कंपटीशन फेस करना ही पड़ेगा. So don't they have to do it anyways in future?
Of course, yes. Competition is a part of life, and but it is a part of life. What are we doing? Competition has now become the only the feature in life today. I have always believed that the child should lead a happy and a stress-free life. Our motto at Ankuram is stress-free and playful childhood. See, competition is part of life, but not everywhere. Sports and many other activities help child develop competitive spirit and sportsmanship. That's very, very important. But when it comes to learning life skills, I have come out of my house. I have come out in the real world, not to compete with anybody. I'm here to learn something, to learn life skills, to learn how to interact with people, to learn how to make my own place. That does not mean that I'm competing with them. To learn how does this world go. Okay, so why are we all the time competing? And competition is not necessary everywhere and anywhere.
True.
When it comes to learning life skills, it is unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. When it comes to learning, of course, no. So we as parents need to understand what are we doing to our children. So leave apart educators, it is really crucial for parents to understand what's important for their child. Help them live life and not get into a rat race. I believe that we need to think on it, that how, why, and what are we choosing for them?
Yes. No, absolutely. I agree. As a parent, I sometimes feel, why are we stressing them so much about everything? I am guilty of it. I also stress my kids a lot about studies, while at the back of my mind, I understand what is important and what is not. So thank you so much for reinforcing these ideas. I think it is really helpful coming from someone like you, who's an expert in this area, to to remind us that what is really important in life. And I can say for sure, and I say you as an expert because I've seen you at hand. Like I've seen you interact with kids, your story studio, the initiative that you started in during the lockdown. सिर्फ व्हाट्सएप से आपने क्या कनेक्ट किया था बच्चों को. Aditya used to be like glued to my phone every day, wait for 5 p.m. and glued to my phone from 5 to 6, doing all the activities. And what fun activities! मतलब stories बनाना, characters बनाना, अलग अलग situations develop करना, the creative ways in which they would take attendance. I don't even know. I cannot list out all the activities, the bookathon, fitness challenge. So I definitely have full confidence that you can bring in wonderful ideas to make learning interesting for everyone.
Yeah, of course. Story Studio is one group, one channel that I have worked on, and it's really close to my heart. And whatever I have always felt should go, and however I had felt education should be like, I had actually worked on those kids, and it was total fun. And the best part is, usually mothers say कि बच्चे हमारे सुनते ही नहीं है, but that the all the kids in the story studio used to wait for the tasks that I gave them, and we had such wonderful time. The creative activities that they came up with, finding out the nest of a bird or the ant's house, or making their way home. Just it was like super amazing, and they all did it with so much interest. Like even about we have also developed stories. Storytelling is another one thing that is a very good medium for children. So I think they really connect well. So when when we talk about concepts, so when I'm talking about Bodmer's rule in maths, or when I'm talking about English grammar, parts of speech or gravity, so we just don't introduce those concepts to kids through books, or just telling them that this is the fact, not through facts, but we make a story around it. And we tell them this story, and those concepts fit into their mind for entire life. And this we have worked on. We actually developed a concept series, and in which we did this, and kids loved it, and they're so much into it now. They know what Bodmas is. They used to fight early, this is not true and this does not happen. And once the story was told to them, now they know the actual facts of it. And I'm so glad that it worked, and this is how it works. And so it is, I think it is on our part, on our educators' part, that how are we delivering it to kids, and how are we giving it to them. Of course, making it fun is fun for us too. And with it's really joyful moments.
Yeah, absolutely. So storytelling, right? This is an example where we are hearing so much about storytelling everywhere, even in our offices, in professional life. Everyone's talking about storytelling. It is wonderful to see that you are bringing that now into the school system. Like the education system is not being left behind. You are keeping pace with whatever is happening outside of the schools. So that's really
storytelling
fantastic.
has always been a part of education system throughout. It is just that we are not separating story with the subject content. Now we are mixing up everything, whether it's be it maths, or be it geography, or be it any object that they're talking about, or any concept, or storytelling, or value education. We mix them up together. So that is what we have come up with.
Yeah, that's interesting. And now I'm excited and eager to know what are the other interesting ideas that you've implemented at Ankuram.
Oh, if you are talking about ideas, I'm, the major part of my day goes into it, and I'm just thinking of we have a separate team who works on different ways of educating, or different ways to make studies or education interesting, and what education is. So we have been working on it, and I know everybody, I'm sure all schools are doing that, but on our role, like we don't have classrooms for different sections, like for when we talk about junior KG or senior KG, we don't have different sections for them, but we have different zones for various activities like dance and story room, play zone, science lab for pre-primary too, toy room,
Okay.
etc. Yeah, so kids are not confined to one room throughout. The whole school is there. And especially we very strongly believe in free play. We give them independence to decide what they want to play or do. It helps them develop the choice and identify their interest. If you'll think, you'll realize that we have been giving them instruction from the very first they had come in this world. We always give them instruction, do this, do that. So this free play is the time when they select, and they do whatever they feel like doing. So we have all sorts of resources available, and they just move around and just do things of their own choice. So that's a very, very important time of the day. And this is what we call as stress-free learning. Another example, like if a teacher is responsible for 8 kids, these 8 kids are not from from the same age group. It is a mixed bag from, say, this pre-nursery to senior KG. And so what happens, there are a combination of toddlers to senior KG. So you'll make a very interesting observation in this. If a teacher asks a toddler to hold clay and make a ball, he would not do it. In fact, he makes sure that he does not do it. But if they see a senior KG child making a butterfly out of clay, they would want to hold that clay and do something out of it. And and in this, the senior KG child would also automatically tends to help him. So this is mutual development, and we call it peer learning. And I think we see this in siblings too.
Yeah. Yes. I was gonna say that same thing. That sounds so familiar and so interesting because, and I guess all the parents, जिनके भी 2 बच्चे हैं, they will definitely relate to it. I have 2 boys, and वो Aditya, when he's the younger one, हमें ऐसा लगा कि he's just learned everything automatically. Like he's just looked at his elder brother, and looking at him, he's learned so many things जो हमें सिखाना नहीं पड़ा. And at the same time, when Aditya was born, it felt like Samyak suddenly has become responsible. वो तो ऐसे सब बोलते हैं ना कि पता नहीं अपने आप ही बड़ा हो गया. So what you're saying, I completely relate to it. I think we see it in our day-to-day life.
Yeah, so this is the concept that we've picked up, and it works so well. Yeah. So your elders keep telling kids to do, and we instruct them all the time. So they don't want to listen to it. So they don't want to do it. But they just, by observing their elder siblings, they want to do this. So this is the concept that we have taken. And also one more thing that we, whatever and however the weather is, we believe in outer play and in nature walk. We take kids for nature walk where they, handpick twigs and leaves and stones, and then they create an art piece out of it. And whatever mess they make, but we believe in they doing it themselves. They make their own. Whatever it is, they give a name to it, and they just expand their own this imagination, and it's so beautiful. I love spending time with them.
And it is sounding so beautiful. Can I come and attend your school, please, as a student? I would love. I mean, हम तो शायद books में हमने निकाल दिया.
You'll have to.
Please plan something for elders also. All right.
Yeah, two plans for this also. We have, we'll be implementing this soon. We'll have grandparents coming in to, story tell kids. Now, grandparents and toddlers, they really connect well. So now we are inviting grandparents and they'll be, they will have storytelling sessions with them.
Wow. Wow. That is, again, it's really fun ideas. I hope we had a longer time to talk about this. But I want to talk about one more idea here, which is your DIY kit. I have read about it. I've seen so many posts about it on Instagram and social platforms. So please tell me more this, because that looked really exciting, something that kids enjoyed.
Yeah, that's a very interesting idea. It's like do it yourself kit for toddlers and for pre-primary kids, especially for them. Usually what we do is we just show them trees, or we just show them how to plant a seed. But in this DIY kits, these are meant for toddlers.
Okay.
We ask them to plant the seed. We ask them to, put the soil, touch the soil. We don't give them gloves to handle soil. We ask them to touch and feel the soil with their fingers. Now,
Oh.
because they have sown the seed, a sprout that appears after a 15 days time is actually a magic for them. And, they feel they are the magician. And it's and the smile of, I have been giving this to parents, and the experience that they're sharing with me, it's so overwhelming, and I'm loving it. I'm sure the kids are so connected to those plants, and the motto of it is let's grow together. So when they see the sprout coming up and the plant growing, and as they are also growing, they are able to connect to it.
Wow.
They now feel the pain. They also feel the whatever the harsh condition if they witness, they feel the same for the tree plant too. So that's very interesting thing. It's a very interesting experiment that they are doing with the
Wow.
pot and the seed.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
also, yeah, so we also ask them we ask the little toddlers to move around and just find out where the house of the ant is, and we ask them to do different little things that we usually don't expect them to do. So we give them
Wow.
challenges that
Yes.
beyond their or our thinking, that we really feel, we always feel that they are too small for it.
Yeah.
But we have untapped their potential.
Yeah. In fact, I think if we see our kids following ants, we would say, why are you even going near them? Please stay away. Or if we find them playing with dirt, we would say, please don't go and wash your hands. I think we're just too overprotective about this.
So we also have mud play. We play with mud. We make mud. We play with mud. We may play with soil. So we have those days, and we pre-inform parents. Then parents are like, "Oh, we have been telling them that this is dirty. Don't touch it." And now you're asking them to play with it. So it's like unlearning and learning. So there are too many things to do with them. It's so much fun for them also. It's like, I'm so glad when they come with a smiling face and they really don't want to go back home, and they stay there and say, "Mama, you go. I want to stay more." So that's the where it's like we have done our job.
Yeah, wow. That's really exciting. We are almost at time, but I won't leave you so soon. So, we started this conversation with how can parents contribute? Like, we as parents, what is our role in it? Because I understand education is a partnership. It is a partnership between the school and the parents. So I would like to hear from you if you can share at least few examples of what we can do as parents, what we should do differently as parents.
Yeah, Shiva, I'm really glad that you brought this point. This is very true, that bringing up or raising up a child is a partnership between the parent and the school. It is neither only the parent's job or nor the school's job. It is, it needs it's like, of course, it is both responsibility to bring the child up and to do it well.
Yeah.
So when we talk about parents' responsibility, just remember our time. Like in our time, traveling by bus or going to school by cycle in scorching heat and sharing clothes
Nagpur
and
heat.
using old Nagpur heat, of course, or using old books from our elder siblings.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely normal. And we did not, make a scene out of it or hype out of it. It was like part of life. This is how it happens, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that was normal. And like one of my friend who started his own business at that time when we were in college, and I had seen him working hard, really hard, to become a successful businessman. He had walked miles in scorching heat, and he went door to door, to market his product, and faced rejection. He traveled in local bus, skipped lunch and dinner, and it had a very hard time when we see now. So when he has turned successful and we ask about his struggles, so for him, these were not struggles.
Mhm.
For you and me also, these small things, traveling by bus or doing our own course, are not struggles, were
Yeah.
not struggles. Of course, now we are also in so much of luxury. And our parents gave us freedom with responsibility.
Yes.
Parents were not
Absolutely.
obsessed during those times. They were not obsessed with the kids. They knew what was to be given to them. So that is the major difference that I see when we talk about our times and the today's time. We are now
Mhm.
obsessed with our children. We
Yeah.
feel that our world revolves around them.
Yeah.
This never happened then. So we were very independent. Now you ask your child to door to market his product, or ask him to travel in local bus, or sit in a non-AC office just to save money in initial days of his business. This becomes struggle for him, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most of the entrepreneurs from a good background fail in the startup just because of these basic struggles. Think who is at fault? It is
But
because of our incapability to prepare them for all the situations that they failed.
yeah.
I
And
believe it's the role of education.
and I hear you. I get what you're saying. Absolutely. I think it is required, but I would say I am also guilty of it, right? We try to give the best to our kids. Even before they're asking उनको we anticipate कि शायद अब cycle की जरूरत है उनको, and we get a cycle even before the child has asked for it, or we get a PS4 because उसके सारे friends के पास है. I mean, I think we're just trying to take care of them, make them feel safe. Um, but I hear you also. I think that we're just overdoing it.
Yeah, I think it is good to good to keep them safe, but are we not making things too easy or too safe for them?
Mhm.
Now building up a strong cocoon around them, and then suddenly one fine day they are out in the world and they don't know how,
Yeah.
and then they don't understand how to face it. So
Yeah.
are we doing the right thing?
Yeah.
So we really need to understand that how safe, or safe, of course, we have to be safe. Really, we have to be, we have to keep them safe. But how easy should their life be? In fact, when we are with them at this point, when we can solve their problems, or we can also help them get out of a situation, we are not letting them get into a situation,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
At least let them get into a situation, and then we can help them get out of it. So they know that this also happens in life.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I, again, I hear you. I have read about so many studies and researches that says that, this new generation, while they're smart, they're good at everything, at the first obstacle or first stress, they run back to their parents. Somewhere I see that in my kids also, and I'm hoping that in the years to come, I I should be able to reverse that. I should be able to make them independent to take their own decisions. So thank you so much for sharing this. I will definitely keep this in mind.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, I would like to share one small basic step that like we have been doing with our
sure.
children. Like we don't have driver in a car standing all the time for them, though we have We have multiple cars, we have driver, we have everything. And of course, they are there for me all the time, but not for kids. If they have to go anywhere, they have to reach somewhere, they'll have to figure out a way to do it. Either they carpool, or they manage with their friends, or they go by cycle, or they take a bus. Yeah, of course, that does not mean that they cannot use the car and the driver, but they have to figure out first that how they can reach at a particular place. So my daughter, who was in like 9th grade, was attending a photography workshop, and which was like 10-15 kilometers from our house. So it's not really far, and I think the best option was to travel by bus. And she traveled by local bus. Just by traveling by local bus, it taught him so many things, like how to protect herself, how to be safe, how to cross the road, how to be on time to catch the bus. And these are very small and basic, conditions at a very early age that makes them flexible for all conditions in life.
Yeah.
If you're grooming them to different conditions that might come in their lives, I believe you have done your job. Safe रखना बहुत जरूरी है, पर let's not overdo it.
Yes.
We are the ones who are going to teach them how to face the world.
Yeah.
So teach them.
Yes. And I think that's the key. That's the key, finding the right balance. कि कितना हमें handhold करना है और कितना उन्हें independence देना है.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for sharing your ideas and for spending time here with us. We are on time here, but this was amazing. बहुत मजा आया आपसे बात करके, नए ideas सुन के. I am definitely coming to Ankuram Preschool very soon. I would love to spend few days there as a student, and if possible as a contributor. So I have learned so much today. I have definitely, it has opened my eyes on how we can make life less stressful and more happy for our kids. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas. We definitely look forward to have you again in this show. We'll talk about newer ideas because I know you have a long list of those. So we'll talk about some more ideas in one of the coming episodes.
Of course, that's my favorite topic, and I love talking about it. And thank you so much. Thank you, Shibha. And it was wonderful talking to you, and glad that we did not. Thank you so much for bringing us together and bringing us and inviting me for this show. I'm so honored. Thank you.
All right. So all the best for Ankuram Preschool, and talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please share your comments or thoughts or questions in the comment section below. या हमें बताइए कि आप और कौन से टॉपिक्स के बारे में एजुकेटर्स से सुनना चाहते हैं. Thank you. Keep listening.